This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. I hope everyone's having a wonderful time tonight. Just having a little trouble connecting with Huddle Sports Network. I believe someone's running late on their channel, so hopefully they don't screw up ours anymore, but I think we got it at this point. Want to welcome to the show Hooked Up Joe, Chef Jew, and Raphael Courtwright. Thank you for joining us, guys, and thank you for hitting the like and subscribe button. Chef Jew, hope you're doing well. We got a few things to talk about. And you know, it's last night's game. We won, yes, but was it Purdy? Not exactly. For some reason. Okay. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, as of right now, there's Skylar Thompson's got the QB2. I mean, he didn't look great, but he looked better than Mike White yesterday. And Mike White couldn't do anything. Mike White was 4 for 14. Skylar wasn't much better any better at 8 for 19. Anybody out there wants to join on? Yeah, I agree, Hooked Up Joe. Based on that game, most definitely was Skylar. Still having a problem with the Huddle Sports Network, and if something doesn't get straight soon, I'm just going to drop them for the night. You know, Jalen Wright looked great. We had to give him that much. Jalen Wright did a good job. I think he averaged a little like 5.5 yards per carry, which I'll take that all day, every day. Ryan AP, yes, Keon Smith is out for the season. It's a shame. We don't want to see injuries to no side of any team, especially season-ending injuries. Keon Smith's out for the season with a torn ACL. So, yeah, he's placed on IR. Let me pull up my stuff. Okay, obviously someone's trying to go on Huddle Sports Network when I'm supposed to be on, but we'll just keep working at it. Yes, positive note. Patrick Paul did look better than advertised. It's a preseason game. quick note I want to go on. It doesn't look like Buffalo Bills have much of a backup for any of their positions. Chicago Bears tore them up last night. (33-6). And there was like 2 minutes left in the game. So it was going well for Chicago, at least. We won, but it's preseason. You can't go off of everything by preseason, especially the first preseason game. They're just trying to see who's doing what and who wants to be on the team. So, yeah. Chef Jew, we appreciate you, brother. We love all you do. Let me see if I can bring up one of these articles. See what we're got going on here. 5 winners, 2 losers in last night's game. Jack Driscoll playing center. I mean, if it works, it works. Five winners, 2 losers of last night's game. Tanner Connor. I don't know how bad he got hurt. I know he was hurt. Got hurt some last night. If they just pulled him out so he wouldn't get hurt anymore is what I'm hoping. So hopefully that's the case. Ethan Bonner. Ethan Bonner looked good. Tanner kind of played his best football since joining the Dolphins as a pro. And yes, it is preseason, but he's blocking well. He was blocking well and was able to work the field and get open. He made the most of his opportunities and looked to put a little space between himself and Jody Forson. Ethan Bonner is having one of the best camps of any player, and he showed fans that the hype is real. Bonner consistently made plays. And was able to break his coverage to make tackles or hold up the ball carrier. Bonner may not have outright won a roster spot, but he is going to make it very hard for Dolphins to cut him. Now, here's a name I like to hear, especially from a UDFA. Go back to Ryan's question. How do y'all feel about Drake Driscoll playing center? I'd really like to, if he's going to be an improvement, I'm fine with that. I am totally fine with that. Our center needs some help, yes. Yeah, I agree, Hooked Up Joe. If Bonner gets cut for any reason, he's not hit in the practice squad, he'll be picked up. 2 more winners that this article had is Storm Duck and Patrick McMorris. Storm Duck's the name I want to hear. Yeah, McMorris was drafted in the 7th round, and no one expects him to make a big impact on the roster, but he made plays when he was in the game, and that is all you can ask of a young guy trying to make a football team. As for Duck, the undrafted rookie was all over the field and made plays. He remains a bit of a long shot to make the roster, but his showing versus Atlanta was a clear indication that he's going to fight for a spot, which is great. I love to see that. We want the fighters. And then our last winner of this article, of course, is Patrick Paul. big man, Patrick Paul, 6'7", 330 pounds. So it's hard to look at Paul and find a reason to be remotely critical. Paul played almost the entire game, and he did very well. Using the strength in his legs, Paul was able to push defenders around, and when they were faster than him, his long arms helped keep them at bay. Paul gained a lot of experience in this one, and he will get more reps in the final 2 preseason games while the Dolphins keep Teron Armstead off the field. Why not? We don't need Teron Armstead during preseason. Keep him off the field. These Dolphin players had games to forget against the Falcons. Yes. There's always a couple that we need to forget in preseason. And in regular season, we want to forget about some of the players. Loser, Willie Snead. Snead didn't impress anyone, and what makes it worse is that the announcer, Ken Bokamper, mentioned that he has struggled catching passes in practice. That isn't something you would expect from a veteran wideout. Snead is far from a lock to make the roster, and he didn't do himself any favors in the first Miami appearance. Okay. Mr. Polk, how you doing, Mr. Polk? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing okay, Papa Paul. How you doing?
Oh, could be better for some reason. I'm having troubles with connection at Huddle Sports Network, and I have a feeling someone else is trying to be on the same time we are for some reason.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Down here where I'm at, we've been having a lot of internet interruptions. So if I should glitch off or something like that, it's out of my control.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's something like that really, because everything else is performing fine. It seems like because we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on we're showing up on Twitter. So
okay. So what was your discussion?
Well, we're talking about the winners and losers of last night's game. Okay. Did you notice anyone in particular?
It's a defensive back. Oh my goodness! Let me get my phone back. I can pull up the roster real quick. It's a defensive back that I think we picked up undrafted, if I'm not mistaken, or we picked him up in the last draft, and he was looking pretty good yesterday.
Patrick McMorris.
He's a defensive back, right?
Yeah, he and Storm Duck was the two of the top defenders last night, and Patrick McMorris we actually picked up in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was playing pretty well.
They said Storm Duck was doing very well as well.
Also, what's that lineman name? Like I said, let me get the roster up real quick.
Well,
you go
they
ahead.
had
Pop off.
two of the winners they had was Tanner Connor and Ethan Bonner.
Okay.
Storm Duck and Patrick McMorris, and then our lineman Patrick Paul.
Okay.
Those are the winners this article had picked.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So okay, just give me a second here. Here we go. Let's start keeping notes.
What's up, Shake Money? How you doing?
What's going on?
What's up,
now
Shake?
we got hooked up Joe. Not much. We're just talking about winners and losers of last night's game.
One person that got mentioned, Ezekiel Vandenberg.
Okay.
I liked him. He was playing. Also, number 78, Leonard Payne. he was disruptive on the defense, on the defensive line.
That's good to hear. Anything you guys noticed? Hooked up Joe or Shake?
The losers
ahead,
was
Jake,
the losers was definitely whoever was in charge of the broadcasting. Holy crap, that was terrible.
Oh, you ain't man, you ain't kidding about
What are
that.
you talking about? Sounded like Max Headroom, didn't it?
Well, I know Kim Bocamper was doing one of the broadcasts, and I don't know which y'all were listening to, so I didn't get
One
to
of them
see her.
was
We're not talking about
shuddering.
We're not talking about the broadcasters themselves. We're talking about whoever was producing their lousy job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a bunch of crazy. The audio was all wacky, and we thought it was maybe something with the stream, but then other people were mentioning it. It sounded like Max Headroom or something. It was all chopped up sometimes.
Well,
Exactly.
going over the two losers, the winners and losers last night. The two losers on this article was Willie Snead and, of course, Mike White.
Yeah, I was surprised with Willie Snead, but I don't know. Maybe he hasn't adjusted to our system yet. I don't know.
Well,
Of course, Jalen Wright, right up the middle. He looks strong.
Yeah, he looked pretty
yeah.
good. Jeff Wilson, also Chris Brooks, all three of them guys were put a decent.
Well,
yes.
see, and where I heard Chris or Jeff Wilson didn't do himself any favors. Chris Brooks looked good, but Wilson, Jalen Wright looked like, as of last night, I would say Jalen Wright has the third running back slot locked up.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He might even have been on depth chart 1.
It was real interesting. I didn't get to see it or even listen to it. I was just watching the scores roll and reading different things. But to see, I could tell just by some of the stuff going on when I didn't even know Mike White was in, and I'm like, oh yeah, that explains a lot. Mike White was in. And I'm upset because I had a parlay bet last night. I had us going over 38.5.
You talking about points?
Total points.
Oh.
Total points. 38.5. I only needed 6 more points. And we couldn't get that 6 points in the third or fourth quarter for either side for me to win the bet. The second half was dismal from what I seen.
Yeah, I think Mike White was put in second for a reason, and he was also naturally working with worse guys, but they're working against worst opponent players as well, So, he didn't look good at all.
What's up, my brother?
What's up, brothers? What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today, man?
Good. We're talking about the winners and losers of last night, and I'm having trouble as hell trying to stay connected with Huddle Sports Network.
It happens, man. It's just technology. It's all good.
I bet you if Tua would have started, you would have won that bet if Tua would have started.
Hey, no, I think I would have won the bet if Mike White or Skylar Thompson would have stayed in.
Yeah. We all knew what it was, and I kind of predicted that Skylar would start first, and then Mike White would come in. And I'm gonna be honest with you, gentlemen. I know it's the first preseason game and everything, but interior O-line, like me and Paul was talking about, is definitely a major concern, and the backup quarterback position is a super major concern because if Tua goes down, I am not confident in both of those guys. I'm just not.
I agree with you.
I agree. And also, we lost Keon Smith on the
Yeah,
he's
out for the season. Yeah, torn ACL.
Yeah, so I think we just signed somebody actually today at that position. So I'm not sure. We just signed somebody. I forgot the gentleman's name, but we did sign somebody today. So
re-sign somebody? I thought they said it was a re-sign.
I guess it's a re-sign. So What's going on, Scotty? Good evening, brother.
What's up, Scotty?
Let me see.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is I'm excited that we have Miami Dolphin football and we just have football back. I'm excited as a football fan. I'm definitely happy about that. But I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah. No, it's not looking pretty right now as far as the O line goes. One thing I noticed though is in the other game, the Chicago Bears game, it doesn't look like the Bills have much of a backups either.
Right.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that game. I said, "Oh my goodness, that quarterback! I think he's the third stringer. Man, he kind of Mike White."
I didn't get a chance to watch anything, gentlemen. I'm still here at work, so I'll just watch the replays or the highlights when I can watch them on my phone on NFL Plus. So
Scotty,
I didn't get a chance to watching it.
Scotty's saying, remember, we didn't have a single O-line starter last night. I understand that, but our backups still have to do better than that because if one of our O-lines go down, we got to have good backups.
Well, I'll say this. This is what I will say. There were plays that both quarterbacks had time to throw the ball, and I will not say it was putrid all the way through the game. I'm not going to say that because there were times where Skylar had more than 3 seconds to get rid of the ball. There was times that Mike White had 3 to 4 seconds to get rid of the ball. So, with that being said, there was time. What's up, John? What's going on, Johnny O?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Chilling, brother. We're good too.
Just got home from dinner.
I was John Federline. Yep. If you guys don't have the NFL Network or YouTube TV or whatever, Pamela Dolphin streams every single Miami Dolphin game. So if you guys can get in her group, the only rule of her streaming the great games on Facebook is no sharing it. So she welcomes everybody into the group. As long as you don't share it, we're all good. So
that's my sister there. I got to look up with her.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it for the first time last night. It was the first stream I had done with Pamela, and it was fantastic. Being able to chat real time and not have the lag where when one person's watching it on cable, another's on somewhere else, and somebody's saying something before something happens. You know how that always happens? None of that. It was so clean and so much fun, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely have fun with Pamela. That's for sure. We all know that.
It had to be
I was on the stream all night last night for the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hook up Joe. Just to mention, I was on CB83 when he was streaming the game, and I was one play behind him. So that's how messed up that was.
Right.
And that's how you can't.
Yeah, Joe Rich. Actually, Joe Rich, I know Johnny O, Dolphin Winners, and I are all going to the Cardinals game.
Yep. We'll be there.
Who's that? Shake Money over there on the side?
You don't shake it over there. You don't shake money over there. A couple more weeks, Shake Money will be in a couple more weeks, Shake Money will be a married man.
I was going to ask him when's Doomsday.
This week, this coming up weekend, this Saturday.
This Saturday?
This Saturday coming out? Definitely, brother.
John called it Doomsday.
And so, see,
John, you caught me off guard with that one,
John.
I'm getting married in August, so I don't have to worry about celebrating my anniversary during the football season.
There you go.
When are you getting married? Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah.
August 17th.
The 17th. I was going to say the next day is my birthday, so I won't forget your anniversary.
I won't forget your birthday.
That's what's up, John.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm also going to the Raiders Cowboys game.
Right.
Nice.
In the stadium.
Nice. I heard that's a beautiful stadium too.
A lot of things
it's very beautiful, but it's very expensive. It's the most expensive place to go see a football game now.
I believe it is in Vegas, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Preseason tickets were like the cheapest one I could find was like $100.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask the panel. As far as our stadium is concerned, how are we ranked as far as being expensive or high?
Oh, we're
price?
like we're actually in the top as far as what the seats or the
Concessions
the
were
seats,
like
the
number 10
tickets.
or 11.
Okay.
no concessions were more than that. It was in the top 5, I believe.
All right, might have been. Overall experience was like 10, 11, but tickets are like 18 or 19, but concessions are like 8 or 9. So when they averaged it out, we were like 11th overall or something.
Okay.
But I heard from several people last night's concessions were horrible.
Yeah, somebody got sick. I think Lisa's sister, Lisa
Well,
Siegel, her sister got sick off of the food from the concessions there.
more than her, there was other people I saw recently.
Yeah,
I was going
I
through
reading
posts.
something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Does that have anything to do with that pot blowing up a few days ago? There
Oh,
was a fire. There was a
you're
fire.
talking about a bag of marijuana blowing up on shore in the Keys.
I don't think that had anything to do with that.
This happened at the stadium, not just a few days ago. It was some kind of fire or explosion at our stadium.
Well, like Allie, said she bought an ice cream for her daughter, and it tasted like stale milk. Really?
Oh my God! Ew. Oh God! You kill somebody doing that. You can't play with food.
Oh no! If anybody knows, Saul and I know we both are kitchen workers. So.
Yes, sir. You can't play with food. You can't play with food at all. You got to watch what you do. Wear gloves every time. You got to sit there and make sure you transfer certain things. Certain things can't go over top of certain things. Is rules to this, and I ain't trying to kill nobody for real.
Right, Scotty just said it.
Oh, a big kitchen fire. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. No, but you're right, because I used to work in the kitchen too, and you have to keep certain food at a certain temperature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all foods, whether it's in the fridge or out on the warmer, they got it. Most of them have to be at least 160 degrees or above.
Absolutely.
And you got to worry about cross contamination and all that. Yeah.
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 Hey guys, I'm gonna drop. Thanks for having me up early.
Take care.
Always good to see you, brother.
Okay, I'm about done with this Huddle Sports Network for tonight because it keeps dropping and I keep reloading it.
It's okay. So we just rock out on YouTube, and then we'll, if you get in contact with the gentleman and find out what's going on with it, we'll go from there. We just rock out with YouTube, IG, and Facebook.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the puppies barking in the back. They can come buy one.
No, Miss Pam had her dog playing with a squeaker and barking in the background last night.
Well, she said anybody who likes a dog barking in the background, they can have one.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's just preseason, so we just gotta. What's the word, John? Wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys have probably already talked about it, but I watched the whole game last night, and Skyler made a couple of mistakes, but Matt White just looked absolutely horrible.
Oh man, I think we all agree with that, Johnny.
Yeah, he was actually listed as one of the losers, and Willie Snead. Yeah, I didn't get to see any of the game. I just went through watching the stats change and things like that online. And
Skyler threw a bad pick, and he tried to force a couple other ones, but other than that, he wasn't bad. Mike White was just off all night long, and then for some reason, somebody puts up today, Dolphins quarterbacks combined it. How are you combining them? How do you take what Skyler did in the first half and combining it with Mike did in the second half? They're two totally different players.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And they're like, the quarterbacks were, 9 out of 20 or whatever. No, break it down. What was Skyler? What was Mike?
I'll take Skyler a second, and Mike White needs to sit there and be on the practice squad and bring the other guy in if that has to be chosen right now. Seriously.
Mike was bad last night.
He looked like a deer in headlights last night.
Joe Rest is asking, do you think Skyler could beat anyone on our schedule if he needs to fill in?
Well, I mean, that's the whole problem. Is I don't think either one of them are that good. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's not. And listen, it's hard to find quarterbacks, and so it's even harder to find a quality backup. Why do you think Why do you think we had Matt Moore on the team for so many years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was a veteran quarterback, and he understood the system, and he knew how to sit there and do stuff.
And he knew the facility, he knew the people, he knew, you know, all the coaching staff. He knew everybody in the building, and they kept him for years, even though he barely played.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like that because he to me he was a good backup quarterback or maybe even a possible starting quarterback.
No, I mean, listen, he went to Kansas City and got a ring.
Mm-hmm. He sure
did. I will say all the comments and all. Right now, I'd rather keep Skylar Thompson than Mike White.
Same here. I see the comments. I'd rather keep Skylar.
Is Skylar going to win the game for us? Not necessarily, but it doesn't mean he won't either. He's just like everybody else. He's got his good days and his bad days. But Mike White, not only in the game yesterday, but even in several practices, had looked terrible.
I'll say this. Ryan AP mentioned it won't matter who you have at QB if the line can't block. You're correct, but I'll say this again. There were plays where both of those men, both quarterbacks had time to throw the ball and actually make plays, and they just did not make the plays that they needed. And a lot of the teams play based offense and based defense. Now, I'll say this. What I seen in the first half from the defense, I was very impressed. There's some things that, you know, we got to work on, but none of those guys out there were amazing. Well, I'll say this. I think Needham will probably be a starter. I think a couple of the guys will be starters, but a lot of those guys are not going to be starters. You know what I mean? And you don't know what type of combination we're going to have out there when the 53 is chosen and week 1 is commenced. So we might be able to see maybe more of a starting squad during Washington this upcoming week. We play Friday or Saturday, gentlemen?
Saturday.
All right, cool. So I think Saturday you get Tua, you get Reek, you get Waddle, you get the crew, and you might play maybe two, maybe 3 series, and then they might pull them.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line at the beginning of the game looked shaky for the first couple series, and after that, they seemed to calm down, and they played pretty decent.
All right, so here's a question, John. So I know Driscoll was the center for a few snaps. Did they replace Driscoll with somebody, or Driscoll played like the whole first half?
No, I think Eichenberg came in there, didn't he?
Yeah, Eichenberg was in there. Driscoll was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were rotating guys. I think they were trying to give as many a chance as possible. We had a few little injuries.
Yeah.
Keon Smith.
Yeah, Smith. Yeah, we lost one for the year with a torn ACL.
Smith. And then the linebacker. Now, what about the linebacker that got injured? Because it was a linebacker.
Any other major news on anybody? It was all nicked up here, nicked up there.
Right.
That might have been Vandenberg, but I don't think he got dinged up. But I don't think it's serious because he came back out a little bit later.
Okay.
Then Tanner Connor got hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we had quite a few guys. Needham played pretty well. Bonner played well at times. He got burnt on one.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I'm trying to think who's there too.
Leonard Payne also.
We had a couple of younger guys. 32 was all over the place, flying around, hitting people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Storm Duck.
I think it was Storm Duck. I think that was Storm Duck.
Duck made a couple of plays.
Because that even the article, he was one of the winners, and he said Storm Duck was just all over the place.
No, there was another one. Heck was his name? Because I saw his jersey at one point. I'm like, I got to remember that, and then I forgot it.
Well, I'll say this on offense. Wright impressed me. That was our draft pick.
Yeah.
Wright impressed me right out the gate. He ran efficiently. He was patient, and he sat there and followed his blockers, and he was getting positive yards every time. I think he was averaging at least 5-6 yards a carry. and it was smooth yards.
He is fast.
Yes,
That man is fast. Good.
yes, he is.
Yeah, I heard. Okay, Patrick McMorris is who you're thinking about. It's number
McMorris,
32.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that kid was flying
He
all
was-
over the place.
It was him and Storm Dirk was two of the the positives on the thing. Let's bring up Mountie to the stage. Welcome to the board, Mountie.
What's up, Mountie?
What's up, Mountie?
Papa Ball, what's going on, gents? What's going on?
What's up, brother? How you, man?
DW, how you? Hey, man, I forgot to send you that stuff. I'm gonna send it to you.
Most definitely, man. What's on your mind, man? We're just talking about last night's game.
Listen, I saw a lot of bright spots. Jalen Wright, Malik Washington, Ethan Bonner, of course. Like Ethan Bonner plays, he play. That kid, I like him. He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely. I mean, besides the play that he got burned on, he was balling, yo.
Yeah.
He was definitely balling out there.
Yeah,
And don't forget that he was endorsed by Waddle and Tyreek. So that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, we got our very own Jason Sehorn.
Well,
Basically, yeah.
I mean, they're saying Ethan Bonner is showing that he's the real deal, not just hype talk.
Not at all.
And then he's a willing he's a tackler too. I like guys like that.
Yeah. And Scotty, you're right. They did go after Bonner, and he did hold his own. He did very well. Papa Paul. I mean, I sit there and listen to what you were saying when you was at training camp, and I kept that in thought in mind while I was watching the game. And Bonner sat there and held his own. Paul looked pretty good too. Patrick Paul looked pretty good as well. What's the name? Malik Washington. Besides the miscommunication or the fumble. And then he picked the ball up and tried to make a play, and I think he lost yards on a kick return or punt return. That was the only mishaps he had during the game. But I mean, the backup quarterback position is a worry. That's just what it comes down to. I mean, it's scary, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. If Tua goes down the day of tomorrow, we in fucking trouble.
Right here, just like what Joe Rist is saying right here. One of the worst backup quarterback situations in the conference, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, think about it. I mean, listen, it's hard to find a starter. It's hard to find a backup. I mean, we talked to the young lady from Atlanta the other day. Every fan base thinks the same thing. You got to improve here. You got to get better here. This guy's good. Half the fans love him. Half of them hate him. We're no different than everybody else. I mean,
You're right, John, but I'm like this. I mean, and I'm not trying to hit the panic button after one preseason game. It's a fucking preseason game.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say this. If this was the third preseason game going into week one, do you feel confident with either Skylar Thompson or Mike White being our backups?
I didn't feel confident with him last year. I mean, I wanted somebody, I've always said Mike White came from the Jets. Jets is where quarterbacks lose their mind, get absolutely destroyed, whether it's Mike White, Sam Darnold, anybody else. They go there and then their career is over.
Right.
Well, I just brain fart. Go ahead. I'm lost now.
And Sky was unproven. He said he did play in a one playoff game 2 years ago in Buffalo and held his own and, kept us in the game the whole time. But that's one game. I'd like to find a veteran that, we don't have to pay a ton, but has some experience.
I mean, well, with the Skylar Thompson situation, I think, and it's just my opinion, 2 seasons ago when he played against Minnesota, if it wasn't for those penalties, he was playing pretty solid. I mean, I got to give the kid the credit. He was playing pretty solid. And this year, I mean, look, I typically don't like to judge quarterbacks until I'm able to see the all 22s to give them a fair assessment on what you saw and what they should have saw and stuff like that. So I typically don't do that, but that's why I go back to see Skylar. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I mean, it's just that, look, we're playing with guys. He's playing with guys that probably won't be in the league in the next couple of weeks. I mean, the offensive line is horrible. He's running every other drop back. So it's kind of hard to assess that. You get guys that can't get open, like Tyreek Hill and Waddle.
And
So
there was a lot of drops last night.
It was a lot of drops last night. I mean, it's the first preseason game. I know we have concerns and stuff, but I'm not panicking. But what I will say is, if we don't get somebody that's going to be somewhat efficient behind Tua, we're going to have a problem. And all that talent is not going to matter on that field if you don't have someone to facilitate that ball to all the talent that we have. So with that being said, it is a little worrisome praying that Tua can get through a 17-game season like he did last year. So
DW.
Uh-huh.
So honestly, you don't think in a true Mike McDaniel scheme with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, OBJ, Jonnu Smith, you don't think Skylar Thompson could be a decent facilitator?
He might be, but right now he's unproven. I mean, we got a little glimpse of him here and there, and I like the kid.
It's hard to prove it when you don't have the weapons around you to prove it.
So here's the thing. Let me answer that real quick. You named all the talent that we have around them, and you're saying Skylar Thompson. Tua's going to have the same issue as Skylar Thompson with the offensive line. The offensive line is definitely the Achilles heel of this season. We do not have a bona fide center. Eichenberg only can do what he can do. When Driscoll was in Philadelphia, he wasn't shit. No disrespect to him. He was not good here in Philadelphia. I watched him here in Philadelphia. And with that being said, it looked like he was a deer in headlights in Miami last night. So the interior offensive line is a major question mark for us this season coming up. So it doesn't matter what quarterback, Skylar or Tua, under the center. That is going to be the Achilles heel for us. If that O-line does not give us the time, and I'm not saying 4, 5, 10 seconds, if they do not give anybody the time to let the plays develop, we are not going to do anything. Now, that is a super major concern for me.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I don't think the offensive line played that bad after the first couple series. They didn't play great.
Right.
I don't think they were bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're bad, but my whole thing is we're just basing everything off of a based offense and a based defense, and I'm not panicking. Right. But what I am saying is when we do go into week 1 against the Jags, they are not playing with us. They come in, and trust me, it don't matter who we got on that O-line. That O-line is going to have to stay intact. It doesn't matter who we got at running back, wide receivers, tight end, fullback, quarterback. If you do not protect the quarterback and you don't give him enough time to facilitate that play and let it play out, it is going to be a long game and/or / long season.
I like on the contrary, I like the snapshots of what I saw in Patrick Paul. I mean, if Butch Berry can work with him, I see a potential All-Pro. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy's big and strong. If he could maintain his discipline and his technique and just grow, he could be phenomenal.
Yeah, man, that's a monster right there, dude. 6'8", 330. Jesus, that's whew.
Yeah, he's a big man.
His hands. He's like he's like a Tony Baselli. He get his hands on you, it's a wrap.
Right. You're absolutely right. And he's raw. That's what I like about the kid. He's raw, but his willingness to learn. I mean, I watched all the rookies in their interviews, and his willingness to learn is beautiful. Like he said, he worked with one of the best offensive line coaches that ever done it on the off season, and he worked on the little things that he needs to work on, but he's willing to learn more. And that's what I love about it. He's like, he doesn't feel like I still have to learn different things at this level. And he's willing to take all that information in. So you can see the enthusiasm, and he has a chip on his shoulder. Because he doesn't feel like he should have been drafted where he was at. He felt like he should have been drafted sooner. So he has a chip coming in. He has a chip on his shoulder. So a lot of these guys got chips, and they want to prove to the league that you messed up. And I hope they keep that going on.
Yeah. And on the other side of the line, like I said, Leonard Payne was very disruptive. Very disruptive. So I hope he stays on track.
Well, something I was going to say earlier, when it comes to the quarterbacks, get rid of Mike White, save the $3.5 million.
I mean, it would be nice, but who the hell is out there though? That's the question mark.
We can just release them and still save $3.5 million.
That's true, but we got to have somebody in mind to bring in. That's the only thing. We can't just this ain't Madden, bro. We got to really think about who we bring in, who would Greer bring in.
Ryan Tannehill, if you're listening, sign for $4 million.
That would be nice, but he's going to want more than $4 million. You know that.
He's not a starter now. He can ask for it. Ain't nobody going to give it to him until somebody goes down.
I know.
And with his age no one's going to even look at him until someone goes down, like John just said.
Right.
Then he may need to get in his head.
We released Mike White. I would say we released Mike White. We still have Skylar Thompson for now. We don't need to carry more than 2 right now, really.
I understand what you're saying, Papa Paul, but I just feel funny just carrying two quarterbacks. But it's just that worries me. Just to carry 2 quarterbacks.
I agree.
It really worries me.
I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to have Ryan Tannehill back on this squad. I really would. But then that'll start the controversy between who do you want as the starter, Tua or Ryan Tannehill?
There's no controversy. You're paying Tua all that money. He's the starter.
I hear no. Listen. Like everybody on this panel knows that I know the language of that, and I respect that. I know that, John. But our fan base. Oh, yeah. Our fan base would take it and run with it, and y'all guys know that. They will definitely run with that whole analogy for real.
That would stir up a whole new can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I know.
Listen,
I know it's coming.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Polk.
No, I wouldn't mind that neither. But that's my concern also, that it will stir up a lot of more trouble and whatever. I mean, I know we shouldn't let that be the determination, but it's going to stir up more trouble. I can see that.
Yeah, but if they did sign Ryan Tannehill, he knows he's coming in to be a backup.
Mm-hmm.
There's no argument. There's no question. You're coming in to be the backup, learn the system. And if we need you, play. If we don't, help Tua out.
Yeah.
Ryan, I have to disagree. I don't think it would be a terrible business decision to bring in Tannehill. I mean, he's basically a bench warmer unless something happens.
Well, I want to respond to Raphael Cartwright. Yes, you brought up comparisons with Jalen Wright and Jay Ajayi. To me, Jalen Wright is a faster Jay Ajayi because they both run with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I think we're going to have definitely a top 5 running core this year.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
With Mostert, Achan, Wright, because I'm gonna be honest with you, no disrespect, because I think Joe Wilson Jr. last night did very good running the ball efficiently. Huh?
Jeff Wilson.
My bad, Jeff Wilson. I feel that he ran. My bad. I'm doing one of your numbers. I sit there and listen to that. I sit there. And, he ran the ball very efficiently. He did very well. I don't have anything against Jeff Wilson, but Wright just was it just was like it was like a breath of fresh air. Like that kid was running with some authority, and he ran with purpose, and you could see he was running with purpose. And I was like, he looked real. Yeah, man. Speed.
So we have less than 10 minutes left, guys. So let's keep it going. We're having a good show. I hate to end it short, but some of us, has to go back to work, Saul.
No, I'm actually done. I'm just got to go back in here and lock the kitchen up. That's all.
Okay. I'm impressed with our running game. If that's our basically not even our 1 or 2 runner. You got to look at, our running game is going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to come up with a shirt for Jalen Wright.
You should do it. You know what you should do, and this is an idea. You should just do a Jalen shirt.
Yeah.
All the Jalen's on one shirt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Dolphins. That's a good one.
So we got 4 or 5 Jalen's on our team.
4.
Four.
Yeah, you got Jalen Wright, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Ramsey, and
Waddle.
And
Here you go. Here you go. The Jalen 4. There you go.
Hey, it's the Fantastic Four.
It'll be the Jalen. Or you can do. Well, that's already copywritten. So that's why I'm saying the Jalen 4.
Yeah, but it's
4 J's.
Or you could say the Fantastic Jalen's.
The Fantastic Jalen's.
Or the Fantastic J. Since they're all spelled different, just put the Fantastic J's. Yeah,
the Fantastic J's, and then have all the
3 different spellings of Jalen.
Yeah, that's dope. That's a good idea.
But for Wright, for Jalen Wright alone, I just thought of I could always put all the right moves.
I like that too.
Well, I'm also excited about college football. So that's right around the corner.
Listen, good luck to you guys and your college football teams. I don't have one. I just sit there and watch for entertainment. I've
been an FSU fan all my life, but I've never really watched college football. I just because of a coach in high school, I supported FSU, and of course, my father-in-law is an FSU graduate, along with 2 of his 3 daughters, plus my oldest daughter's an FSU graduate. So,
well, I'm like this. If I did have to pick a team, it probably would be FSU because 2 of my favorite players are Ron Simmons from FSU and Deion Sanders from FSU. So that's 2 of my favorite college football players.
Okay, with me, I support mostly Florida colleges and university, but I just love college football. I just love football. So NFL, Canadian, doesn't matter. I love it.
Remember, Mr. Polk, Oklahoma Sooners. You got to keep an eye out for Eddie Pierre-Louis.
That's the guy the big guy that runs fast that you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for him because I want to see him play. Because that's a specimen right there. To see a big man like that run that fast, that's a specimen, dude.
Well, I mean, I still can't get over it. When you watch the track tape, doesn't have that quick start like most of your track players, but it's like a freight train, starting off slow and then building up speed. You don't want to be at the end of that line.
I don't want to be in front of them. Period.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to be in front of them at the end of the finish line because there ain't no stopping that boy.
Oh, man, that's a lot. That's a freight train coming at you, bro. I don't think I don't want to get hit by nobody that big going that fast.
Exactly.
Sheesh.
I take my chance driving a truck with dynamite in it.
That was good.
Oh man. Guys, I'm going to go because, like I said, I'm going to go lock this kitchen up. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m., whoever's going to be here. I appreciate the people that definitely said there was on today. Peace, love, fins up, fellas.
Peace, love, and fins up,
bro. Fins up, everybody. John, you're coming down for the first home game, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. I fly in Friday and I leave the following Saturday. So I'll be at every home game this year.
Yeah. Well, I'll be at every home game this year unless I get sick again. I wanted to be at, this last night's game, but my health comes first.
Yep. You got to get healthy so you can go to the regular season games.
I still plan on going to this Saturday's game because I'm supposed to drop the truck off with Tony. So as long as my health is going in the right direction, I will be going to Saturday's game. I go back to the doctor tomorrow and see what they say. So, Monday, not tomorrow. It feels like this whole weekend's already screwed up for me because my wife was off an extra day and she's going to be off Monday too. So it's like, I feel like it's Saturday, Sunday right now. You know, I mean, yesterday was Saturday. Today should be Sunday. So other than that, we'll go ahead and call it a few minutes early. We had enough trouble. They got the Huddle Sports Network fixed from what I gathered from a tag I got also. So we appreciate everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Huddle Sports Network. John, you have anything to say?
No, I mean, there was some bright spots in last night's game. There were some things we know we definitely got to see it get improved. It is preseason. You know, you're looking at second and third string guys. You're not looking at starters for the most part. If you see any stars, it's going to be very minimal. You know, I'm still kind of excited for this year. You know, I'm still waiting to see that 53-man roster and see who they keep, who gets cut, who ends up on the practice squad. You know, unfortunately, between now and that 53 cut at the end of the month, you're going to see some more injuries, you know, which is always part of that field. I don't know how those guys played on that field last. It looked like they were walking on a sponge.
Well, they've had a lot of rain.
Right, and you could see it. I mean, divots were coming out when guys were trying to stop it or make cuts, and you know their feet were sliding out from underneath them. And it, you know, the defense I think played well overall. They the fourth quarter they kept holding them, even though we were giving them the ball back. Sanders with a 58-yarder was beautiful to see. Then he missed the second chance at a 58-yarder. You know, some very good bright spots, some other things that need to be fixed, but that's what preseason's for.
So, yeah, so he made a 58-yarder and missed one. That's still 58 yards. That's still a hell of a kick.
Well, the one he would have made that from 65 or 66. I mean, he had plenty of leg on that one.
Really?
And then the other one, I don't know if his plant foot slipped, but he shanked it right from the kick as soon as it came off his foot. And I'm looking at the screen, so it was my right. I'm like, well, that's going to the right, and it was, you know, he's looking at it, so it was wide left. But
yeah, that sounds more like he might have slipped or something. I think
he probably his plant foot on that wet field. He slipped on the second chance. The first one he drilled right down the middle, and I mean he had plenty of room on that kick.
Nice to hear. I mean, because we've had our, you know, ups and downs with him. I'm hoping he can stay up this year. Other than that, yeah, you have a great weekend, sir. I'll see you in the morning sometime.
Absolutely.
Everybody out there, peace, love, and fins up, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.